Welcome to what is potentially like the first attempt at a Real Opinions talkie film show thing. Now is the moment you take the chance to drink. The moment after 10 minutes of setting up this microphone stuff, now is the moment that you decide to drink.
It gave me something to do, because I figured, like, if it just looks like I'm just staring.
I'm not recording the video, though. I'm not even recording the video,
no,
it's just sound. So you just pick the one action which causes you not to be able to talk to be the moment where we decide to start talking. Yes, this is kind of the first attempt at a Real Opinions filmy talky show that we can attempt every so often when we have a free hour, half hour, whatever. And I mean, we did do a radio show, so we are kind of used to doing something like this.
It's just going to be the radio show, but without that same song every week.
Yeah, because of copyright. Basically, it's the exact
play
same.
songs over here, but we wouldn't even know when they started playing. It would be the way to make it even more awkward. And now we'll play this song. Is it on yet? I can't hear. Oh, yeah, it is. I'm talking over it, and then it would be even more disastrous.
Well, we could just kind of just do the awkward thing where we go, and now we'll play this song. And we're back. And just go right after, like pretend like, oh, wasn't that a humdinger of a tune?
Humdinger?
I don't know the terminology. We're not music critics. I mean, well, I tried. I've talked about fat beats before.
I've reviewed a couple of scores on here.
Oh, that's true. So we are sort of musically adequate.
Musically adequate.
That's on my. I'll put that on the CV. Musically adequate.
I think if we ever did start a podcast, I think that this should be the name of it. Musically adequate.
No, just forget the brand that we've been tried for about a year and a half. Just go for something completely different.
It could be Real Opinions, and then the subtitle could be Musically Adequate.
But then that implies that we're only talking about music for the entire thing.
No, it just implies that we're adequate. It doesn't imply that we're necessarily talking about music. It's just a statement that we are musically adequate. It doesn't necessarily connote that that's what the conversation's about. Like, Captain America the Winter Soldier isn't about the Winter Soldier. He's in it, and it's not false. Like, we are musically adequate. It doesn't have to be about that fact.
Okay. But it's also just kind of a statement about us, so it's not a fact. It's just we're all right. It's basically just Real Opinions not that bad at cooking. Like, we don't have to talk about it, but it's just a subtitle. You don't have to reference it.
We'll just call it adequate.
I want it to be Real Opinions Book of Secrets.
Just revelations. Origins.
We'll do origins, but we don't discuss the origins whatsoever.
There's a few that have done that. Let's not.
That's true.
It's not that ridiculous.
That's true.
I think Revelations is good. What's another one they do? Redemption. That when there is no redemption.
Redemption's the big one. Yeah.
Even if there is no redemption.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Real Opinions Redemption.
It's like the classic one. They do. Was it? Returns, is that another one? I don't know, that's just, I'm thinking of Star Wars now. The one I just jumped to is Electric Boogaloo, just because that's the go-to joke, yeah.
I think Redemption should be, though. Because Redemption actually...
Redemption.
Or Revelations. There could be Revelations. Again, though, that's another one. There's normally never any revelations in a Revelations film.
What are some Revelations films? I'm trying to... Is it Matrix Revelation? Or is it Revolution?
Or is that Revolution?
That's the thing. I think it's Revelation. Because Revolution sounds like it's a bit too... Revelation sounds a bit more thinky, and that's exactly what they want the Matrix to be.
I don't know. There are a lot of them. The problem is they're forgettable films. So... I can't remember them.
That's true, yeah, they are all forgettable. Yeah, they all just blend into one another. There must be... I'm surprised they haven't done the Bourne Redemption.
Mm. But they've been thinking of cleverer words, like
That's the thing. The
ultimatum.
redemption is quite a cleverer word, I suppose. Not, well, I can't think of a dumber word. I can't think of born
Well,
is
let's put it
good
this way:
now.
when I was a kid, apart from identity, I had to ask what supremacy and ultimatum meant. I wouldn't have had to ask what redemption meant if I was a kid. So I think
That's true.
I think that's what they name them by. It's like, if you're 10, do you have to ask what the word means? But you wouldn't have to ask what Jason meant.
That's a prefix. That completely. Well, it's not a prefix. It's just his name, I suppose.
What are we actually talking about?
I was trying to segue. I was going to segue at some point into the thing that you sent me. Oh no, I sent you yesterday.
The
evening.
Suicide Squad thing.
The letter. Yes, it's always Suicide Squad now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Actually,
that
just
one
bringing it up,
Suicide
I'm
Squad
kind of
thing.
like, yeah, actually bringing it up, I'm just kind of like, do I actually want to talk about that film? Just because it's, even though I haven't seen it, I mean, I'm just tired of talking about it, hearing people
Yeah,
talk
no,
about
it's
it.
like,
really.
it's already become a very clickbaity topic. Like, there's 1,001 things that you can talk, like, do like a feature on to talk about the Suicide Squad because of the controversy caused by it, and I've done one, so I know, but but I think it was
I've milked that cash cow.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's not the one that you're talking about in particular, though, isn't that Suicide Squad specific.
No, it's more just Warner Brothers in general, so I suppose that's a bit better.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that it's the fact that, I mean, well, we were both in the opinion that the guy wasn't in 100. The guy that wrote the letter wasn't 100% in the right, as some people have just painted him as.
Messiah.
I assume people have just the Messiah. Yeah, essentially.
If you went through the comments, it was just people like totally agreeing with him as if they were even involved in the industry. There's a lot of just like, yeah, that's probably what happens, and obviously we're not in the industry, but basically, do you want to explain what the letter was?
Oh, basically the letter was that it's an ex Warner Brothers employee, and basically just goes through saying that the problem with Warner Brothers is that they just have this slate of awful films every single year, and they keep wondering and they keep laying off lower level staff instead of higher level staff that keep coming up and pushing these terrible ideas on people. And the higher level staff he's attacking sort of aren't just businessmen or the CEO. He's mainly attacking the CEO, but he is also talking about the directors of the films. Like he wants Zack Snyder to be punished.
People like that. Yeah, he was. It felt like I understood where he was coming from in the whole like the situation he describes as people getting laid off who aren't responsible for the overall film. People like, I think he mentioned marketing people or just general assistants or effects people. I can't remember exactly who he referred to, but basically the kind of people who don't get their names out there. They're the people he described as getting laid off. And that's totally, yeah, he's right, that's unfair because usually, in fact, when I say usually, I mean 99% of the time, they're not the people to blame. And he's saying, like, if Batman v Superman's a bad film, don't blame the marketing people or whatever, because they're not the ones who made these big story decisions that people hated. But at the same time, I felt like he was attacking the wrong people.
The marketing people are just making the best with what they're given with, aren't they? He did specifically attack the marketing thing with The Hobbit, which he said that it was just a lazy Peter Jackson, and the marketing people had to clean it up, basically.
And the thing is, I did work on The Hobbit, and I don't know if this guy did. That's the thing.
From the sounds of it, he didn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I think he said that, I can't remember when he said he left the company, but I think it might have even been before The Hobbit. I don't know. But either way,
I think it was even before. I think it was Man of Steel. I think he left before Man of Steel.
Well, there you go then.
So
I think he did. I think you're right. I think he did. I think he did leave before Man of
Because
Steel.
he said, I first wrote this letter to do with Man of Steel.
Sorry, you just blanked out for the whole of that bit. Sorry. What did you say? I got he left after Man of Steel, and then I got nothing.
Oh, okay, that's fine. It's good if we both paused. I suppose that's less awkward. I don't know.
But yeah, he did. He attacked Peter Jackson, and from what I can tell, I don't think Peter Jackson was it necessarily at fault. I don't think the Hobbits are good. Particularly, any of them are particularly bad, but none of them are good. But at the same time, I do get the impression that Peter Jackson tried. I don't think Peter Jackson's the type of person to just not give a shit at all. Well, we all know that he sort of took it on really close to filming as well. It was very much like, "Oh, you do it now," because Guillermo del Toro's gone. So, I don't know. I feel like these are all the things he's complaining about seem to be studio decisions, but he was blaming the creative people, and it just felt like he was blaming the wrong people. Again, like, was it Clint Eastwood for Jersey Boys that he also singled out? And it was like, what did Clint Eastwood do? Why'd you want to fire Clint Eastwood? I get it, don't fire the little guys, but why attack Clint Eastwood? Like, it felt
Clint
like
Eastwood makes fine films, though. Like, generally, he makes fine films. I mean, is he going to blame him for American Sniper doing very, very well?
Yeah, for being, like, the biggest domestic hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it felt like his problem was with the studio. And again, I'm very sympathetic, because I imagine, you know, if we ever get involved in the industry, we'd be pissed off with that too. We'd be pissed off if our jobs are on the line because of a film not doing well when it's out of our control. But he was, like, implying, like, oh, these lazy creators who do nothing and don't try. And I don't think that was the way to go about it. Like, he seemed to sort of be implying the same thing about the Suicide Squad. Even though he didn't directly name-check David Ayer, he did seem to be, you know, saying, and Suicide Squad proves my point even further. And I thought, but I'm pretty sure that David Ayer was not to blame. And that was studio politics and everything. So again, why are you attacking the wrong people again? I'm not there, I don't know, but it felt like instead of saying we shouldn't be fired, he should have been saying, don't fire anyone based on the film's not doing well. Instead, he was going, fire these people instead. It felt like he was defending by attacking.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that.
He was being aggressive when he should have been saying, this is wrong.
Yeah, and the kind of thing that I closely kind of connected it to in some ways is that the issues that they had with Fantastic Four. I mean, it's similar in that it's a superhero film as well. But people like complained, oh, it's the studio that screwed up that film. But also at the same time, it was clearly there was something wrong with the director at the time. At the same time, and I think that he's just trying to shift the blame from one group of people to the other. I can see why he's mad as well. Like we said, that it's the people that he is friends with and the people that he knows are getting fired for these decisions that they don't ultimately make themselves. But again, yeah, it's not really a case of offering anything useful besides these people are bad. Yeah,
that's exactly all it's gonna do is fuel fanboys to have self-righteous whining again. It's not helping anything. Like, it's an open letter to Warner Brothers. Like, Warner Brothers are gonna read it and go, "You're right. We'll change the way we do our business because of this." All it is really to get people pissed off. And all it's going to do is have more people pissed off. Have more people think they know how studios work. And just attack studios with venom as if they understand the inner workings. But nothing's going to change based on it, really.
It's not helpful in any way.
He did also... One of the things I felt was a bit weird was that he sort of... He did imply... I don't think he said it explicitly, but he did imply that this is Warner Brothers. And that this is Warner Brothers' problem specifically. As if other studios just are... What do other studios do? Are other studios not motivated by money? Do other studios never interfere with films? Do other studios never fire anyone? I mean, he uses Marvel at one point, like talking about their Comic-Con panels, which I didn't really get how they were connected. He just sort of brought up, your Comic-Con panel was shit. Okay. But like, I'm pretty sure Marvel have done some high-profile firing or kicking people off projects in the past, like Edgar Wright. and
Yeah.
then just bringing in Peyton Reed. And
When
well,
it doesn't work with their vision.
yeah,
Vision.
yeah, vision. And so vision.
I was making a reference to the character.
Like Joss Whedon had his whole thing where he was talking about how the studio were putting a lot of pressure on him to do things a certain way, and I do feel like why. I get that he worked for Warner Brothers, so he would have a personal relationship to be specifically pissed at Warner Brothers. But isn't this just what studios do? Big studios making big movies. This is what they do.
I understand, especially if you're in a system, you immediately see the faults more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And obviously you get focused in on the day-to-day grind. I mean, you can look at a company from any angle. You could probably say, like, most people go, "Oh, Apple's great." No, if you get into it, if you get into it, you know that there's going to be arseholes left, right, and centre, and that there's always going to be people that are ruining things for others. I mean, it's just people again just kind of wanting to put this thing that they don't understand, which is the movie industry, because they just get an output from it. They don't get any like input into it, and so they're just trying to put this whole massive thing that they can't possibly understand into a category. And so they're basically just trying to go, studio, that one bad, that one good.
Yeah, it's like they're all studios. There's no such thing as like a good guy when it's a big corporation. They all want money. They're all driven to make the most money that they can. Some of them, it just happens to be that doing the good thing will make them more money. That they're not doing the good thing to be good. They're doing whatever they can to make the most money. There's no such thing as a studio that is benevolent and cares about people. Like, the people in the studio might. I'm not saying that all corporate people at the top of the ladder are, like, venomous creatures that just throw orphans onto fires. But what I am saying is that the corporation as a whole will want to make the most money it can. That's how it works. That's exactly what corporations do. And so to just go like, Warner Brothers are evil is just like, no, Warner Brothers is just a company. It's a company like all companies, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And of course, it's shitty if you're one of the employees who get fired, and you have every right to complain. But why would you say, don't fire me, fire that person? That's the thing I have a problem with.
Don't shoot me, shoot him.
Yeah, it was it's just don't fire anybody. Is the, like, Paul, like, imagine if you were like Peter Jackson and you read that, you'd be just like, what? What did they do? What did I do to this guy? Like, Peter Jackson seems like a nice dude. Peter Jackson seems like he's a friendly, good guy. And incidentally, do you really think that Peter Jackson should be fired because he made The Hobbit? Because I'm pretty sure he made Lord of the Rings, won loads of Oscars, made the studios lots of money with The Hobbit. It's not like, if you want to say, oh, Peter Jackson's the person who should have been fired, like, that's just wrong. From the studio's perspective, Peter Jackson made them a lot of money. Even with the Hobbit films that are supposedly bad, he made them loads of money. He even got them nominated for some Oscars with the Hobbit films, like visual effects and things. And obviously he won Oscars for Lord of the Rings. Why would the studio fire him? Just because you don't... What? Because some people don't like the films? No.
Yeah, so even the people didn't like the films as much as the Lord of the Rings, obviously, but they made more money than Lord of the Rings. They made way more money than Lord of the Rings. And sure, they won't have the longevity of those series, but people are still fans from the last one, and so they could bring in, if they brought out some Lord of the Rings tripe, so the next day, if they brought out some kind of, like, they're doing a prequel to Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's directing it, people would lose their shit.
Yeah, they would.
They're not gonna fire this fella because he's if you put his name on something, it will sell, regardless of if it's good or bad, and that's what they want. They want to sell, which is what we're just repeating now. But
and then that's the other thing as well, is that he was saying that we should fire them if they make bad films. That was basically sort of the creators should be fired if they're not doing storytelling well. Well, that's totally subjective. Like, you can't, like, with another job, like, if it was you were in a business, you can judge someone by their sales or by how much money they're bringing to the corporate. But how do you fire someone based on storytelling? It's entirely subjective. That's mental. It's like, how? Like, imagine if the heads up at the studios didn't like the way that Inarutu made The Revenant. Would they just go like, your storytelling was bad, you go now. Go, man. No, but it's entirely subjective. And if they're making money, then that's the only thing that you can judge them by. That's just logical. And don't fire anybody!
And also, directors can go through phases of making good and bad films. I mean, if you look at, was it Scorsese? Scorsese's made some bad films in his time. He has also made some very good, very popular films that have sold a lot. Just because someone is going through, like, someone can make a good film and then a bad film only to come back and make another good film. Just because, like, you've taken them for their peak doesn't mean you have to, like, cut them loose the moment they start showing signs of faltering. Like, they're not like some kind of racehorse where the moment they falter, you've got to shoot them. Like, it's not how it works.
The weird thing as well is that he was talking about Zack Snyder as the problem from as early as Man of Steel. And I know that Man of Steel split people down the middle, and I actually didn't like Man of Steel, but I was not under the impression that everyone jumped on Man of Steel with vitriol. Like, there were definitely people that liked Man of Steel. It was
50-50.
Yeah, it was 50-50, wasn't it? So, like, why would you fire him based on something that some people, like, genuinely loved? Like, some people were like, this is great. Like, Batman v Superman, I understand a bit more, but Man of Steel, like, some people think Man of Steel is a really good film.
They are just chipping away at that 50-50 percentage with every film. But,
I do understand, though, because only this, but at the same time is that these people will be the kind of people who go, studio's evil. You know, you go on the comment sections of like IMDb or whatever, and they'll be talking about how Warner Brothers are evil, studios are evil. But they're the same pricks that have been attacking the editor of the Suicide Squad. Like, you just go on the comments and like, DC should fire their editor, and it's like, you can't do that because he was the person that probably had to salvage what little he could because of what the studio told him to. And then you're like, the studio's evil. They attacked this guy that they've been, like, making his life hell, and who now everyone blames for this film. You should fire him because of what the studio told him to do. Because they misunderstand what an editor does. They think that because there's like lots of scenes are cut from Suicide. I know you haven't seen it, but lots of stuff is obviously cut from Suicide Squad, and you have like things that were whole scenes reduced to like 10-second snippets. And I get that's and it is jarring. It's very jarring. It's very strange, and it means that you don't get into a lot of the scenes like you should. Because some of them are clearly good scenes, but just as they're sort of starting up, they're gone.
I've seen that example of the Joker, where in the trailer, like the first trailer that came out that showed the Joker, you know, where he does that shot up at the camera where he goes, "I'm going to hurt you really, really bad," which, regardless of whether or not you like that line, it looked like that was part of a scene. And then I've seen the clip of that in the film, and it's like a drug montage.
It's the only time where the editing is jumpy on purpose that I remember. It's the only time where it has that kind of, like you said, druggy weirdness. The rest of the time it's just that the scenes are really short. But they seem to think that that's the editor's decision. Like, the editor was just going, this whole scene here, David, I'm just going to cut it. Fuck it, David. I don't care what you say. David. It's gone. Like, the editor was sat there.
Like, David just went into the cinema to see the final cut. Just went, Barry, no! What have you done? And Barry's just been like pressing the keys as fast as he possibly can to cut it down as quickly as possible.
It's just like, or like the fact that it's all jumbled and scenes are moved around throughout the film that were clearly meant to be at the beginning of the film. Again, that wasn't the editor. Like, he did it. Yes, he will have been the person who physically did it, but he didn't do it because it was his idea and he just overruled anyone. That's not how... He didn't just get to go, that's what's happening, you guys can suck it, I don't care. Like, a whole character's backstory is missing because the editor just didn't like them and just went, fuck this shit. Like, so the editor was sat at his desk just drunk out his mind, cutting shit moving stuff around. I don't give a shit about this crap. That's not how it works.
It's like that.
It's like a cute, like, sitcom kid, and they all turn to, like, but where's this character's backstory? And he just goes, I don't know.
It's like I've lost him.
But I don't understand, like, how you can be all like studios are evil and then blame this editor who's just doing what he's told.
Also, I just feel bad for the editor.
They did
so
like
imagine
8 cuts of this film or whatever.
Imagine that your job for like day in day out is that you watch whole films and then you have to your entire job is to watch a whole film and then cut it down to 2 minutes. Like that, because he did trailers. They did the trailers, and so his job for his entire like career has been cutting down massive films into 2 minutes, and then suddenly someone grabs him and says, "By the way, you're doing the whole bloody thing now. make that 30 times longer."
Is he even the person that is credited as the editor? Because I know they got so many people in on editing the film, but only one man's credited.
There is one credit, yeah, but I feel like they went through a lot of re-edits. I know that, but I think it's basically the fact that lots of people have had their cuts of this film, but because of the way that the guilds work, they have to have a guild approved editor, and they have to have one official like title for it. I mean, I assume that it's a guild and a crediting problem, or just because they don't want to show the fact that it was a jumbled mess in the production of that. Because I mean, like, there's the example of like the Coen brothers or whatever. They weren't directed by the Coen brothers for their first few films because the guild does not allow that up until they were the exception. So that's like the first few films. It says produced by Ethan Coen, directed by Joel Coen, but really it's just both of them directing, and it's because you couldn't say 2 people directed this just because they wouldn't allow that. And so maybe it's a guild thing, maybe it's just a covering up.
But my point is that guy may not have been the person who's necessarily even responsible for the end thing, but he's got that on his name now, and it's one of those rare occasions. Like, editors don't normally get that much recognition either way. Like, either way. Like, I know a lot of the time we talk about how editors don't get the credit they get, but a lot of the time, name an editor you hate off the top of your head. Like, an editor who, if you saw him on the credits, you'd go like, fuck no. But this guy...
I could list that. I thought that, Whiplash? Brilliantly edited. Can't name his... I
know, but that's exactly my point.
That's both ways, it's like you said.
Yeah, but this guy has now... He's now got his name credited to one of the few films where, like, every reviewer's gone, fuck this editor. Like, he's the one editor to get that, and he might not have even done it. Can you imagine, like, just showing up at some editor's party, and everyone's just like, he walks into the room, everyone goes silent and just looks away, and he didn't even do it. He's just the poor guy that has his name on it. Like, there was 20 other people, but all of a sudden he's the laughing stock of Editorville. And he's not necessarily the guy to blame. And I really, cause like, imagine now if he's like going around looking for jobs, it's like, oh, you edited Suicide Squad, and they just tear up his resume in front of him and just set the shreds on fire, and he just watches with tears dripping down as he just looks at the puddle of ashes that was his career, but because of Suicide Squad is gone.
Do you think that, because, you know, some directors have in the past, they've kind of said, I want to detach myself from this project, I'll put a different name on it, and things like that. Do you think that at some point, like, I think that when it comes to projects like this, if I don't think that they can, like, I can't imagine that they'd be okay with the editor picking a false name for this film. Like, because that, if anything, that would just say to people, the editor hated it. The guy that cut it hated it. And so I feel like there must be this pressure as well to not, even if, I don't know, maybe he did like the film. I don't,
we don't know, but it's just the fact it wasn't even just his job. Like, he's taking all the heat.
I can't imagine a scenario where he wasn't pissed off.
Yeah, that's true.
Like just from the sounds of the, because I mean, even if I really loved the film that I was cutting, if I found out that my studio bosses had hired someone else that typically does trailers to cut it instead of me because they don't like my job, I'd be annoyed. So I don't know, and you don't.
Especially if they just hired them based on the
like-
fact that
like,
they put Bohemian Rhapsody to some of the footage, and that made them more qualified than me.
Yeah. Oh, so he used a Queen song that everyone loves. Oh, okay, great. So he just gets the credit that I've worked my entire career to get to this point. I like how this kind of like rant against this one letter that's come out has just turned into a massive like hypothetical about this one man's life.
He's making me sad though. I'm worried about him. I think that we should upload the video as just like the untold story of Suicide Squad's editor.
What you don't know may shock you.
The whole thing, like, I think seeing as this has sort of gone into a general talk about Suicide Squad now, or more specifically, the issues behind Suicide Squad. The main issue, because everyone's like, this is what happens when you let a studio mess with a film. I mean, reshoots and re-edits have been a part of films forever.
That's completely fine.
The issue is, this is what happens when you decide that you want the tone of your film to be something different halfway through making it. You can fix issues, you can cut out stories, you can cut out characters, you can change the order of events, but when you decide you fundamentally want a totally different film to the film that was originally pitched to you, that's when you kind of have to go, no, you probably can't do that. Like, test screenings, they're fine. With test screenings, you can go, want more of this character? Good. This bit boring? We'll lose that bit. You can't go, oh, the film needs to just fundamentally be a different film altogether. You can use re-edits and reshoots and test screenings to change things, not to change everything about a film. You can't change everything. You can't go, this film... Because David Ayer will have come to them with a pitch and will have said, this is the film I want to make. And they'll have said, yes. So why didn't they let him do the film that he pitched? They can say no if they wanted to do the fun film, and I know that they didn't get that idea until after Batman v Superman, but that's way too late. But if they wanted to do the fun film, then say no to David Ayer in the first place. Don't say yes and then change it. It's the fact that they left it so late. Like, so late to change everything. Not just bits, but the tone of everything. Which they just do. I know you haven't seen the film, but the way that they do that, for the first half of the film, the way that they make it fun is just by slapping pop songs over footage that originally didn't have pop songs. Like, it's not like... you can tell that most of it is the exact same as it always was, but now it's got Eminem playing over it. And, like, that makes it fun now.
Just made it 8 Mile.
That actually is in the film. There is an Eminem part. That's not... I didn't just pick something out of like, total randomness. Eminem is one of them. But they just, like... And then they drop it halfway through. That's the other thing. Not only have they started to mess around with the film so close to its release, not only did they decide to change everything, but they only do it for half of it, and then the other half, they're like, fuck that half, that half doesn't need to be fun. The first half can be fun, but the second half we cannot be bothered to do that. And so, for the first half of the film, you have, like, 2 times the amount of songs that you have in, say, the Awesome Mix. You know, you have, like, song.
Wait, is in the entirety?
And then for the second half, there's none. I think there's 1. It's just so bizarre. It's just like song, no song, no song. It doesn't make any sense.
Which half do you think is better out of the 2?
I honestly, the first half of Suicide Squad, I actually genuinely thought, like, I was sat there thinking, you know what, I totally see where everyone's coming from, and I am fully aware of the problems, but I am having fun it is fun. And I was like, I still like this. Then the second half, I was like, now I'm seeing the problems, and they're bugging me. So, like, if it carried on like the first half, I would have gone, yeah, I get it, but, I thought it was fun. But then the second half made me think, the villain thing is really dodgy as well. Like, I know that you probably, I don't want to spoil it for you, but the villain is one of the worst that there's been. Annoying as it is, the half where the studio intervention is more obvious is actually the more enjoyable half. But I think if the whole film had been allowed to be David Ayer's film, I still don't think it would have been necessarily amazing, but I think it would have at least been more consistent, because it is a very jarring shift between the David Ayer half and the other. It's the inverse of Fantastic Four. Like where the first half of Fantastic Four is clearly the Josh Trank half, and then the second half is the studio half. This is the other way around.
So they're quite a good double feature then.
They are, and if I've seen a lot of people comparing this to Fantastic Four. This is infinitely better than Fantastic Four. I don't all the problems. It doesn't matter, because this is still fundamentally a film where stuff happens, and as glaringly obvious as some of the reshoots and things are, they're not as obvious as Fantastic Four's. Fantastic Four was insane with how obvious they were, not just because of the wig, which is ridiculous, but because of just Kate Mara's wig in Fantastic Four. You can tell where reshoots are because she's got this wig on, and it's this really, really bad wig. It's really bad, and I haven't heard that at all. It's useful. You can use it. It's like a special feature on the DVD that you use to see where things have changed. Like there's the wig. This was different. But it's nowhere near as glaring as that. But it is this. I keep thinking back to it. It's why hire David Ayer? Why hire Josh Trank if you don't like their pictures? With Fantastic Four, I think it's even weirder, because with Suicide Squad, they decided they wanted to change it because of Batman v Superman. Whereas with the Fantastic Four, it seems like they just decided they wanted to change it because halfway through they went, "Oh no, we don't like this." But you got the pitch, you had the script. I don't know why this. You suddenly woke up one morning and decided now would be the time to change it. So it's not the gargantuan mess that Fantastic Four is. It's just, it should be better, and you can see for me it was just, if they let the scene. I don't mind the tonal clashes as much as other people, because consistent tone is something I find to be overrated to an extent. Obviously there are times when if you have a really jarring tonal clash, it can be a problem, but I feel like films should sort of go through different tones and not just be this consistent line of always fun, always moody. The tone thing doesn't bother me as much as the fact that scenes aren't scenes. There are 2 or 3 scenes in the film, and the rest of them everything else is just brief cutaways that just are there to connect. It feels like you're watching the previously on. It feels like you're getting the minimum amount of a scene that you need to make the loosest amount of sense from the film. And so you just sort of cut to a location for 10 seconds, and then it's to the next one, and then it's to the next one, and then it's to the next one. And there's this bit in the film where, you see it in the trailer, where they're in the bar, and they're hanging out in the bar, and it's very much like that bit in Guardians where they're talking about the plan, and what percentage of a plan, and everything. That bit felt so refreshing in the film, because it was the first time that a scene went on for over a certain amount of minutes, and you were just they just sat down talking, and it's a full scene. How great is that? It's a full scene. And it's frustrating because, for example, I think in particular, the Harley Quinn and Joker backstory, you can tell there's good stuff there, really good stuff, and it's just skimmed over and shown in the briefest way possible. Like, there's the bit where she's sort of interviewing him in Arkham, and that was so clearly a long, creepy conversation before where he's manipulating her and getting inside her head. What it is in the actual film is like 2 lines. And it's really annoying because you just want a full scene at some point to happen. It feels like a trailer. That's what it feels like. It feels like a trailer where nothing is played out in full. And it's annoying.
If they said...
It is really irritating, and I do hope there's another cut.
Oh, that's what I was actually just going to get to, is if they came out with, we're releasing an extended cut for Blu-ray, would you rewatch it?
Absolutely. I would, if they were releasing another cut, I would get so excited. I'd probably get as excited as I did again, because I know that an extended cut could fix so much from just character backstories to letting scenes be scenes. I think that it could fix so many, not all the problems, but so many of them. Like, certain stuff's always gonna, like, the villain's always gonna be a bit crap, and Jared Leto's Joker's never gonna be good, ever, but a lot of stuff would be fixed by an extended cut, and I would get really, really, really excited for one. Because I think it could be one of those where it's a really dramatic difference in quality. Like one of those, like Kingdom of Heaven, where everyone talks about how the director's cut is actually a great film. Whereas when the theatrical cut came out, no one gave a shit.
Yeah, I would hope that it's something like that happens. I mean, it just...
But then, for all we know, we could get it, and it's just crap again.
And the thing is, with extended editions, I mean, it's the fact that it's not... I mean, they've already made their theatrical release. They can make the theatrical release onto a Blu-ray. That still is going to sell fine. I think if you made an extended edition, you're not going to really lose anything. Especially if the extended edition, especially if people start hearing, oh, it's good. Like, if anything, you could sell more of the extended edition than the regular one, because people are getting it to see if it is better than the last one.
Yeah. No, I don't... It's a very messy, confusing situation where I don't know, like, how a studio could have... I know their thinking. I do get it. I'm not one of those people who just jumps on studios as, like they think they're evil and they intentionally want to ruin every film. I understand they got worried. They wanted to make the film more fun. I get it. But I don't understand how they could have seen this cut and gone, that's the one. That's it. That's better. I don't understand how they... I mean, surely they knew that was going to get, crapped on. And there's this thing as well where people are talking about, but David Ayers said it's his cut. It's not his cut. It's not. That's just, like, he just doesn't want to Josh Trank himself. He doesn't want to sever his ties with every studio ever. He's a smart man and isn't going to say, I hate this studio, because then no one will hire him. It's so obviously not his cut. Like, it's just so clearly isn't. Because why would he film all these backstories and then cut them out? Like, if it was his cut, he wrote the script, why would he have written that stuff in and then his cut not have any of it in it? That doesn't make any sense.
Has the script been released?
I don't think so. I don't know, though. But I feel like I'd have heard of it. I'd have heard about it. I feel like there'd be a lot of stuff of people going like...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's because it'd be interesting, because, again, if the script did come out, it'd be another one of these things where people would latch onto it, and I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out at some point in the near future when someone else needs a clickbaiting selling article.
Yeah, they're dishing
like
out the Suicide Squad controversies very generally. Like, they need to latch on. Summer's over. They need to latch onto this for as long as they can. Ghostbusters petered out, and they're like, we need a new thing for people to write this shit on, and so they are. They're elongating this as long as possible. They had Batman v Superman, then just as everyone had finished complaining, Ghostbusters, then just everyone's a Suicide Squad, and now we don't know when the next one's coming. We have to hold on to Suicide Squad for as long as we can.
This is the modern horror film. We don't know which film will be next in the hatred cycle.
We need it's just we need to hold on to it until the next one comes along. Probably Rogue One. Someone's gonna have a problem with Rogue One. They managed to have a problem with The Force Awakens. We've got to wait until December.
I can't think of any other, unless for some reason, like, the only other film that I can think of that's big and looks meh is Ben-Hur or something like that.
I don't think anyone no one cares about that.
No one's
already.
attached to that.
Yeah. Maybe Harry
Yeah.
Potter is gonna be terrible, or there'll be something that offends everyone with that.
Actually, yeah, you might, well, but then again, it could just be another Hobbit, and no one hated the Hobbit. People were just like, yeah, they were just sad about the Hobbit, in some ways.
Who own? Is it Warner Brothers that have that?
Yes.
There we go then. Maybe Harry Potter will have Eminem tracks all over it.
You heard it here first. Finding the Fantastic Beasts, so where to find them will be sexist, or will be racist, or will be badly edited, or will kill method acting.
Maybe Eddie Redmayne just goes around killing people for the whole film, and that's the big controversy. He's just what's that one spell that kills everyone? The Voldemort does.
Oh, Avada Kedavra.
Maybe he just is doing
Avada
that throughout the
Kedavra.
whole film, and everyone's like, "This isn't Harry Potter."
This isn't my Harry Potter.
And then the director will issue a statement about about his reasoning and why he does that. People will still be divided. And then Jesse Eisenberg's in it.
He's not even a main character, he's just an extra in one scene, but he ruins it.
He's still going,
Like, he's got like a spell on him that causes him to constantly make that noise, and that's the reason.
maybe Enchantress did something to Lex Luthor, and that's why he's like that for the whole film. It was her. She ruined 2 films. But that actually is the thing, though, is that from what I've heard, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that the Batman v Superman extended cut is like significantly better, and I've seen some clips.
Is there already extended cut out?
You know the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman.
I didn't know they were doing an ultimate cut already.
No, the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman got a cinema release in America.
What?
In America, not here.
Oh.
But here,
Oh.
it's out on Blu-ray now. You can buy it. I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips from it, and it makes certain parts of the film make so much more sense. Like, it gives Jesse Eisenberg's character a lot more motivation. You get to see, like, Clark Kent be a journalist for a bit and, like, investigating Batman and what Batman does. And things like things that feel like they might make the film a lot better. And I've heard from people that it genuinely turns it into a good film. Like, not just makes it better, but turns it into a good film. So, you know, could happen with Suicide Squad.
I think so. I'm kind of wrapping up what we've discussed in that it was kind of just a hate. It was just a Warner Brothers discussion overall, but I think the general consensus for this is that the hatred cycle will keep on churning. Someone will be next. It probably from this rate it does seem like it's going to be a Warner Brothers film, even though we were pretty fair, I say, when we were discussing it before. It does seem like it's setting it up to be the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sony probably have something that they can piss everyone off with. Whilst Marvel just continue to be fucking perfect.
You know how all the studios set up, like, independent arms a few years ago? Do you think they're going to set up, like, arms of studios just to create the one offensive film a year? That, like, gets fans annoyed. And so that's kind of their, like, opposite of the prestige
I think they're
film.
trolling.
Like, so they release it around the same time of a film that they actually want to sell well, so it kind of, like, takes the heat off of that film. That could be a good strategy. Anyway, so overall, just points from this. I think it went well as a discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, it managed to segue way better, even though it was like only brought up one point, and we managed to talk about it for. It's been 53 minutes.
There you go. That's a proper podcast.
Yeah, that's actually a whole length, and I'm kind of cutting it short just because I think it's kind of just more natural to have a shorter kind of first episode because it kind of eases people into it a bit more. But I know some podcasts that are like an hour regularly or an hour and a half, and I think just from this, I mean, we could probably easily talk longer, and there's silence occasionally.
Yeah, how much of that was silence? Yeah, well, you know the Shallows is out now. Maybe we could do an hour-long podcast on The Shallows.
Dissecting it frame by frame. You have to find every single positive way. Or right, do we want to do the Shallows as an underrated masterpiece, or is it an overrated offensive film? Because that's the only way that journalism can go now.
It's just one. If you say something's okay, no one's going to bother to read it. You have to have some extremism.
Can we just do the whole thing like we're discussing a film that we're very nostalgic from our childhood? Like, can you believe it's been 20 years since The Shallows got released? It's incredible. It's amazing.
I think we should do all reviews now, where basically we ask at the end, so was this film a 5-star masterpiece or an abject failure? And you have to say one.
And you have to say who should be fired for that film. Like, every single film, like we just scroll through the IMDb credits and we just go, "That was a really shit gaffer, Pete. You really fucked this one up. You gotta go."
Zoom in on it. Find him on IMDb, show his picture, and look at this prick.
Send him hate.
Get in the comments just like a list of who should be fired. Get people to vote. Send it to the studio.
Do Twitter polls, yeah. Oh, I'd appreciate that, actually. I feel like that could be what Movie Fights turns into, like, who do you think should be fired from this film?
I'll just pick, like, a random best boy from the credits and just mercilessly attack him.
He's not the best.
Every time he does a film, we'll bring it up as well. Like, just hound him in every film. It's like, look who's in this one! It's him again! Why do they keep hiring him to do whatever it is a best boy does?
Okay. We will find the best boy from Suicide Squad and now pick on him. We'll find his name and put it. And every film that he is in afterwards, we'll just go, "It's fine, but Timmy worked on it." So obviously, Timmy is dropped. Timmy made sure that one shot where it was annoying, that was him. He really screwed that one up.
What if they hire different best boys to do when the film's like a mess and they want to try a different tone? Do they go through like 8 different best boys, and then one of them has to take the rap for it still at the end?
It's just like the Hunger Games. They choose which one will go off to the bad film. Right, but basically just sum it up in that we shouldn't choose who gets fired in a company which we have no part in.
That's the lesson today, folks. You don't get to decide.
But I don't know how I want
But don't attack that editor of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And stop hiring people to make films you don't want them to make. That's stupid. Like, if you want if you want Peyton Reed to make everything, if you want someone who is just going to do a fine job, just get Peyton Reed to do them all the time. He'll do your Suicide Squad and it will be fine. Just fine. Get Peyton Reed.
Just Peyton Reed it. Then now I've just got this idea if he just walks onto set every day, it's just like, oh my god, he's so okay. Like, they just said it like every single time. He just manages to get the perfect middle line for everything.
Like, his direction isn't bad. It's clear, but it's not. It's just like, try it, but sad, and that's it. It's like, it works.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's just what you need. That'll do. Do it sad. Peyton Reed.
He's the kind of person that I imagine you go into his house and every single room is just painted the same colour and it's beige. Because you got in and goes, these walls are fine as they are, let's leave it. And they work as walls. You can understand them as all walls.
It doesn't
and
fall
they do
over
have some
if I just
character.
push it. It's...
Sure, the structure was already built by someone that was making a pretty great set of walls. But to be honest, I'm fine that I just painted them beige. I'm okay with this, and I think you are too. I mean, you're fine with
Or
this
if
house.
you go to David
Sure,
Ayer's
someone
house,
else.
he got like 8 people making the walls, and none of them fit together properly. Just across the street, Josh Trank's got a house with all the walls covered in shit, and then someone's had to come in and take it off him and finish.
It's someone's desperately.
Trying to wipe the shit off, and then the guy that owns the house comes out and says he should be fired for getting all that shit on the wall. It's like, you're not scrubbing hard enough. It's clearly your fault.
It smells in here. Why have you got rid of the smell?
Why have you changed how hard, like, this half of the film is, this half of the house, I broke the metaphor. This half of the house is spotless, but this half is completely covered. What are you doing? What is this? Anyway, I think we completely got off track. That was me trying to end it, like, several times. I will now on the Ant-Man poster, just like, Ant-Man, it's like a house full of beige walls.
I think we should leave this. This should be the video, just the part about walls.
No segue, just that.
Good.
Anyway, this was good. I liked it. It was fun.
It was fun.
Oh, we should probably try again at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
After we've seen the shallows.
After we've seen the Shallows, yes. That's the next big thing. But yeah. Great. So we'll do it whenever we have the time / can be bothered. Just do it